Welcome back everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm really glad you've joined me, because what we're about to talk about may completely change the way you look at something as simple as a 1-cent coin. For most people, a penny is almost meaningless. It sits at the bottom of pockets, gets tossed into jars, ignored on sidewalks, and forgotten in drawers. But today we're going to explore the idea that one ordinary-looking coin, the Liberty 1 cent from 1974 in the United States, could theoretically be worth an astonishing $422,000 million, a number so large it almost feels unreal. This isn't about face value or metal content. This is about errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, and rare possibilities that could turn a tiny copper coin into one of the most valuable objects on Earth. When people first hear a number like $422,000 million attached to a penny, their immediate reaction is disbelief. How could something so small, so common, be worth so much? And that reaction is completely understandable. In 1974 alone, billions of 1-cent coins were produced. They were made to circulate, to be used, spent, and forgotten. But in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the most valuable items are born not from intention, but from accident. Errors at the mint are the foundation of some of the rarest and most valuable coins ever known. And the more unusual, dramatic, and unique the error, the higher the potential value. The 1974 1-cent coin exists at a fascinating moment in U.S. minting history. The early 1970s were a time of immense production pressure. Inflation, population growth, and economic activity demanded huge numbers of coins. Mints were operating at high speed, often running machines continuously for long shifts. When production volume increases, the chance of mistakes increases as well. Dies wear down faster. Machines slip out of alignment. Human intervention becomes rushed. Quality control can miss things. All of this creates an environment where rare and dramatic errors can happen. The Liberty 1-cent coin of 1974 still carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait, a design familiar to nearly every American. That familiarity is part of what makes errors so fascinating. When you know exactly how something is supposed to look, even the smallest deviation stands out. And when a deviation is extreme, it becomes unforgettable. A coin with a doubled image, a misplaced mint mark, or a striking flaw can immediately signal that something unusual has occurred. One of the most exciting possibilities with a 1974 1-cent coin is the idea of a double die error. This is not a simple strike issue. A double die happens earlier in the process, when the die itself receives more than one impression from the hub at slightly different angles. The result is a die that carries doubling in the design. Every coin struck by that die will show the doubling. When doubling is strong and visible to the naked eye, collectors take notice immediately. Dates, lettering, and facial features can appear doubled, sometimes dramatically so. If a 1974 cent were discovered with an exceptionally bold double die, especially one that affected key areas like the date, the word Liberty, or Lincoln's profile, it would already be considered a major rarity. But now imagine that this same coin also carries other errors. The combination of multiple rare features is where value begins to rise into the realm of imagination. Another major factor in the potential value of a 1974 penny lies in mint mark errors. During the early 1970s, mint marks were still being applied manually to the dies. This manual process opened the door to mistakes. A mint mark could be punched more than once, punched at an angle, punched too deeply, or punched in the wrong position. Repunched mint marks can leave visible traces of earlier impressions. Sometimes these traces are faint, but sometimes they are dramatic, creating a shadowed or doubled appearance. Now imagine a 1974 cent with a dramatic repunched mint mark, one that shows clear separation and strong visibility. That alone would be highly collectible. Combine that with a double die, and you already have a coin that would excite collectors worldwide. But the possibilities don't end there. Planchet errors are another area of fascination. A planchet is the blank metal disc that becomes a coin when struck. Occasionally, planchets of the wrong metal or wrong size find their way into the production line. This can result in coins struck on planchets meant for other denominations, or even on foreign coin blanks. A 1974 cent struck on a dime planchet would appear silver-colored and weigh less than a normal penny. A coin struck on the wrong planchet immediately becomes an extreme rarity. If such a wrong planchet strike also carried a double die and a mint mark error, it would move from being rare to being nearly unbelievable. Each additional error doesn't just add value, it multiplies it, because the odds of all those things happening together are astronomically low. Off-center strikes are another dramatic type of error that can transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. An off-center strike happens when the planchet is not seated properly in the striking chamber. Part of the design may be missing, and part of the blank may remain unstruck. The more off-center the strike, the more dramatic the appearance. A well-centered date combined with a large blank area is especially desirable to collectors. A 1974 cent that is significantly off-center, yet still shows the date and mint mark clearly, would already be very valuable. Add doubling, add a repunched mint mark, and you begin to approach a level of rarity that few coins ever reach. Another error that excites collectors is the broad strike. This happens when a coin is struck without the collar that normally constrains its shape. The result is a coin that spreads outward, becoming wider and thinner than normal. The design may appear stretched. Broad strikes can be subtle or dramatic. A dramatic broad strike with other errors would be visually stunning and extremely rare. Die cracks and die breaks are also important to consider. Dies are hardened steel tools, but they wear out over time. When a die begins to crack, those cracks appear as raised lines on the coins it strikes. Some die cracks are small and common, but others are large and dramatic. In rare cases, pieces of the die can break away, creating major design distortions. A 1974 cent with a massive die crack running across Lincoln's portrait or through the date could become a unique specimen. Lamination errors are another possibility. These occur when the metal of the planchet has impurities or defects, causing layers of metal to peel away from the surface. Lamination errors can look like cracks or flakes, and they can dramatically change the appearance of a coin. A major lamination error on a 1974 cent would immediately draw attention. One of the rarest and most exciting possibilities in all of numismatics is the mule error. A mule coin is struck using two dies that were never meant to be paired together. Mule errors are extremely rare because modern minting processes are designed to prevent such mismatches. Only a handful of confirmed mule coins exist in U.S. history. If a 1974 cent were discovered with an incorrect reverse die or some other mismatched die combination, it would instantly become legendary. Now imagine a mule error combined with a double die, a repunched mint mark, and a wrong planchet. That kind of coin would not just be rare. It would be unique. It would stand alone in the entire history of American coinage. And when something exists as a one-of-a-kind object, its value is no longer determined by price guides or past sales. It is determined by desire, competition, and the willingness of collectors to pay whatever it takes to own it. This is where the idea of a 1974 penny being worth $422,000 million comes into play. That number is not based on typical market prices. It represents the theoretical value of a coin so rare, so unique, and so extraordinary that it transcends normal valuation. It becomes a cultural artifact. A symbol of chance, error, and discovery. The psychology of collectors plays a huge role here. High-end collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying stories. They are buying history. They are buying the thrill of owning something no one else can ever have. When two or more collectors want the same unique item, prices can rise to unimaginable levels. Auctions become battles of ego, legacy, and passion. The idea that such a coin could still be undiscovered adds another layer of fascination. Millions of 1974 pennies are still out there. They sit in jars, drawers, collections, old rolls, and forgotten boxes. Many people inherit coins without knowing what to look for.